compounded annually. So I'll explain what that means in a moment. All right, so here's the deal. After 1 year, so your money's in the bank, it's earning interest, and after 1 year, the amount of money that's sitting there is the initial amount that you put in, P, plus the interest earned on that money, and that is R. Now, R was given to us in percent, so in order to convert it to a decimal, we have to divide by 100. So here we're converting our percent, R percent, to 100 times P, okay? So that's equal to, I'm gonna write it again, this is P plus R divided by 100 times P, and that is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by 100. So after 1 year, has elapsed, the amount of money in the bank is P times 1 plus R divided by 100. Okay, now I want to point something out. Because this money is being compounded annually, all right? If you take your money out of the bank before 1 year has elapsed, then the only return you're going to get is P, the amount of money that you put in. They only pay the interest to you after the 1 year has elapsed, right? So now let's continue this. So here you have this amount of money, P times 1 plus R divided by 100, and that's sitting in the bank. And now you have the option. You can leave it sit in the bank for another year. So again, here's the bank. And we know they're paying R percent annually, compounded annually. And the amount of money at the beginning of the second year. So this is the amount of money in the bank at the beginning of the second year. And how much do you have after 1 year elapses? Okay, well, you have the money that you initially put in, which is P times 1 plus R divided by 100. So that was at the beginning of the second year. That's how much money was in the bank account, plus the interest earned on this. I'm going to write it this way: interest earned on this amount. And then we can compute it down here. So let's go down here. And we're going to take this and rewrite it as P times 1 plus R divided by 100 plus, okay, so the interest, oops. So the interest earned on this investment, and that's going to be, well, it's going to be R divided by 100. So that's our interest rate. I'm converting, again, I want to remind you, I'm converting R from percent to a decimal, times P times 1 plus R divided by 100, okay? Which I can write as P times 1 plus R divided by 100 times 1 plus R divided by 100. And this is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by 100 squared. All right, so this is the amount. So this represents the amount of money in the account after 2 years have elapsed. So this is the amount in the account being the bank, after 2 years have elapsed. All right, and let's do this one more time. Let's take this money and let's put it back into the bank. And let's look at how much we're going to have at the end of 2 years, okay? So at the end of 3 years, I'm sorry. So at the end of 3 years, we're going to have the following. Well, it's going to be the amount that went into the bank, which is P times 1 plus R divided by 100 squared, plus the interest earned on that, which is R divided by 100, times P times 1 plus R divided by 100 squared. All right? So let's look at what this is equal to. So this is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by 100 squared plus R over 100 times P times 1 plus R over 100 squared. And we can write that as P times 1 plus R over 100 cubed. Okay, well, this pattern obviously continues. So the pattern continues. And you might say, well, what pattern? Well, the pattern is at the beginning of the first year, we're putting P dollars into the bank. At the end of the first year, we have P times 1 plus R over $100 in the bank. At the end of 2 years, it's P times 1 plus R over 100 squared. And at the end of 3 years, this is the amount of money is P times 1 plus R over 100 cubed. So this is initial amount of money. And this is after 1 year, after 2 years, and after 3 years. So we can say that after n years have elapsed, the amount of money in the bank is P times 1 plus R divided by 100, divided by 100 to the n power, right? Okay, let's stop here.